All right, I want to welcome everybody to the Des Clark Alex Brown show without Alex Brown tonight. So it's just me and my nondescript white guy.
I am nondescript.
Co-host. We're going to pilot this show tonight without Alex Brown. So without any further ado, it's time to get started.
Let's get started. How are we doing tonight, Tilted Kilt? Good to see everybody tonight. Thanks for coming out.
Like my co-host just mentioned, we do have a drawing at 8 o'clock for a special guest co-host to fill in for Mr. Alex Brown for a segment on our show. But let's get started. I should mention that we do have Kellen Davis, who will be here shortly to sit and talk some football with us. So if you have any Bears questions for you guys out there on cyberspace looking at us, you could call us at 773-382-8372. Another way you can get in contact with us is text me at 407-335-9499. Or if you're a tweet head and want to tweet us, you could tweet us at DesClark88 or at WCRT Chicago. And you can also follow us at those handles also. I almost called you Brian.
Who the heck is Brian?
I don't know.
All right.
Well, Brian, it sounds the same.
No, not really.
Well, I can tell you somebody who probably wants to go by a different name these days. That's Caleb Haney.
Caleb Shamey?
Caleb
No Jobby?
After this week.
Caleb Canadian Football League?
Well, if he's lucky.
Josh McShamey?
After 4 weeks of in-up quarterback play, what is the future for Caleb Haney?
The future for Caleb Haney is probably, if he's lucky, the Canadian Football League.
You don't see him being a backup or a third string anywhere in the NFL?
Well, the thing with being a backup in the NFL is injury is so rampant in the quarterback position. We'll look at a team like the Houston Texans this year, who are on their third string quarterback. The Philadelphia Eagles had to go to a backup. The Tennessee Titans are now on their backup. You know, every reason. I mean, you can look at the team like a Minnesota Vikings who decided to go away from Donovan McNabb. You have to be able to play this game to be in. You know, this weekend, Ben Roethlisberger more than likely will not play, and Charlie Batch will be in. Seneca Wallace had to step up to the plate in Cleveland. You have to be ready to play. Caleb has proven beyond a doubt he is not ready for this game, and he has been in this league for 4 years now.
I think after 4 games, you get a pretty good sampling of what you have. And I believe what you have in Caleb Haney, although I love the guy to death, you know, I played with him for 3 years. He became like a brother to me. But you got to call it like you said. He's right now, you can't say he's a legitimate NFL quarterback.
Not even close.
You know, you go out, you have 9 interceptions, 2 passing touchdowns?
To the other team.
And, well, yeah, he got more to the other team than he has for our team.
He has more touchdown passes to the opponents than he does to the Chicago Bear players.
And people may want to say, well, he's been sacked, but he's playing behind the same offensive line that Jay Cutler was playing behind, who Jay Cutler was starting to thrive. So Caleb Haney, after having all the goodwill after that last year's championship game, has lost all of that. And I believe, honestly, after this year, you may find him, you know, out on the streets, and like you say, just lucky to have a job in the Canadian League going forward.
I'm not really sure. I mean, his recruiting tapes that other teams are going to see are going to be this. His ability to move in the pocket and extend the play by simply slide stepping or shuffling within the pocket has proven itself to be non-existent. He has been moving into the rushers and not going with the blocking schemes that are being called out by Roberto Garza on that offensive line.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because he is a mobile quarterback. I just don't think right now he has enough seasoning to use his mobility.
And you would think after 4 years, you'd have that seasoning.
Well, that comes with gameplay, because there's only so much you can assimilate during a practice. Practice is practice, and let me tell you, they're not hitting the quarterback in practice. Once they get close to the quarterback in practice, they're pulling up and saying, oh, I got you.
Yeah. It's regardless, every quarterback has practice, and at some point you get that exposure. We had the exposure last year in the NFC Championship game against Green Bay. We have the chance in Oakland. We have the chance against Kansas City. We have the chance against Denver, and we definitely have the chance against Seattle. At what point is Caleb Haney going to improve? And that's my knock. He never showed any improvement. He kept
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen this year because
I don't think it's going to happen. Period.
I don't think it's going to happen either. I think you got what you have. What you've seen is what you have, and that's not a good quarterback. I mean,
do we want to put the entire blame for Seattle's game on Caleb Haney's shoulders, though?
Yes.
You want to put the entire blame for Seattle's game?
I want to put the majority. I want to put the majority on Caleb Haney.
Do you want to take this entire 4-game losing streak and throw it right on his shoulders?
Yes. And there's an argument against that?
There's no argument against it. I would say that definitely the Kansas City game, definitely the Denver game are on Caleb Haney. When your defense holds the opponents to 10 points in regulation each game,
you got to win that game.
The Bears are 7-0 this year when the offense scores 21 points. They are 0-7 when they don't.
That's the telling stat.
That should tell you something about the fact that it's on the offense.
I'll say this about that first game in Oakland. You can put a lot of that blame on Mike Martz for not handling his backup quarterback the way he should have been handled in that game. I think it was a lot of calls that shouldn't have been called, and I don't think that he properly managed the game from an offense coordinator standpoint by letting Caleb warm up that seat a little bit before he started throwing the ball downfield, before he started having Caleb doing a lot of the things that he just wasn't ready for in the first quarter or first half of the game.
I agree with you on the Mike Martz sentiment. You look at a team that has proven this season that they can run the ball behind that offensive line, and give credit to Mike Tyson, that makeshift offensive line. But they have proven it doesn't matter who seems to be toting the rock. They're toting it pretty well, be it Forte, be it Barber, that one fumble aside, be it Khalil Bell. They all come in and they're moving the ball, and they're moving the ball well.
They are, and the running game has been there all year when our offense coordinator is calling the runs for the offense. So the running game's been there, and a big reason why that run game has been there is because the blocking up front. And the one reason that the blocking up front has been good is because this man who just stepped in the house.
Yeah, Mike Martz loves to go out and get those big tight ends.
Well, he didn't have to go out and get this guy.
He was already here, but he inherited this guy. However, he did disavow you.
That's okay.
He kicked you to the curb. You know, brought in his buddy Brandon Manu.
Yeah, Manu
Laiuma, and that didn't really work out.
You still didn't say that name right.
I still didn't get it. Brandon not playing in the NFL anymore, let's just say. But I will tell you that Brandon was brought in. It didn't fare well because he likes to have the big blocking tight ends. So this year he inherited a draft pick that the Bears had a few years ago out of Michigan State, Kellen Davis. And then he also brought in
Matt Spade.
I was going to say Max. I apologize. That's why I paused. Matt Spade, who came from Pittsburgh,
right,
out of Minnesota, another Big Ten school. He loves his Big Ten tight ends.
And then they didn't draft Kyle Adams. He was a free agent.
Non-drafted free agent. Yes.
Right.
And so they brought in Kyle Adams, and those are the teams. But with that being said, that's part of the reason why the Bears have been able to run the ball. They're getting consistency in the blocking from their line. That includes the tight ends.
Kellen Davis. So let's bring,
as a matter of fact,
Mr. Davis in.
Mr. Kellen Davis. Big round of applause for Mr. Kellen Davis, starting tight end for your Chicago Bears.
This is like my big little brother here.
Big little brother.
As you see, he's quite a bit larger than me. But how you doing, Kellen?
I'm doing good, bro. Nice to see you, man. I ain't seen you.
Hey, I appreciate you coming.
Nice sweater you got there, man.
You like my sweater?
Yeah.
So you're going to start with the jokes already?
I ain't start with the jokes. I like your sweater.
I see that hat that you got on is stretched to the max. Got some threads popping loose up there. But we won't talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm quite sure you got a lot of jokes, a lot of old jokes. I'm going to just go ahead and get them out of the way. Uncle Dez.
Are we regularly talking about old here?
Well, he probably will.
All right, Gramps, shut up.
You can't talk about old.
Just because I'm great Gramps doesn't mean I can't call you Gramps.
And so we'll just call you nephew.
Nephew, all right.
Nephew Kellen.
So how you been feeling, man? I know you had the arm injury and you still wearing that brace. How you feeling physically?
You know, it's the end of the season, so a little beat up, but you know, I'm good. Just got to deal with what you're dealt with and just push through. So it is what it is, you know.
Yes, sir. And we're coming down to the final stretch of the season. 4-game losing streak after starting off at 7-3. everybody had that good feeling about the Chicago Bears going into the playoffs. Now people are kind of feeling like we may be slipping away from the playoffs. What's the feel in the locker room these days after this 4-game losing streak and losing so much firepower on that offensive side of the ball?
Well, man, you know how it is after a 4-game losing streak. You know, it sucks. It's not fun, and everybody's looking for answers and trying to figure out what we need to do to win the next game. And I mean, bottom line, we just got to execute better and have less turnovers and, you know, score more points. I mean, it's really simple, but that's obviously not that simple on the field.
Yeah, because you actually got to go out and do it against other guys that's trying to stop you from doing it.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. When that guy lines up across from you and you're trying to block him and he's trying to go the other way. So that causes a big problem there. But staying on the offense, everybody knows Caleb's been struggling. And 0-4, they decided to make the switch. How has the new quarterback,
Josh McCown,
how has he been looking these last couple of days in practice? And what can we expect out of Josh that Caleb wasn't able to give us in the last 4 games?
I mean, he's been looking good the last couple of days of practice, and I think what they're trying to look forward to is maybe because he's more of a vet, and you know, he's played on some teams and had more experience than Caleb, and I think that's what they're thinking he's going to bring to the table. And I mean, we'll see on Sunday. I mean, he looks pretty good. I've never played with him before, so this is the first time I've really caught any passes or anything from him. So I mean, it looks like a good change right now, but we'll see on Sunday, like I said.
Yeah, going up to Green Bay finally lost a game. Talk to our listeners about that atmosphere in Green Bay. I think that's one of the more unique places to go and play a football game at. Can you explain from your point of view what that atmosphere is? What kind of feelings does it bring out for you going up there every year?
Well, I mean, I just remember whenever I think about Green Bay, I was thinking about the first time we rolled up there, and it was the stadium in the middle of some little trailer park neighborhoods. And I was just like, what is going on, man? What is this?
It's literally in the back of people's backyards.
It's hilarious.
Well, I know it is, but I don't know if I would call it trailer park or something.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers are Green Bay, so they obviously have a great fan support because there's nothing else. I mean, there's nothing else there, and they're winning games. So I expect it to be like an electric, playoff type atmosphere, and the oldest rivalry in football, all that good stuff. But we just got to go up there and execute and deal with the crowd noise and deal with all that stuff. And the terrible hotel room we're probably going to stay in.
Oh, those are the worst hotel rooms that we stay at anywhere on the road.
Green Bay's are the worst.
Green Bay, and we never stay in Green Bay.
We stay like De Pere or something like that?
We stay in different spots. We never stay in the same city. What is the one place where is it a Holiday Inn that we stay in with the steakhouse, with Shula Steakhouse? What town is that in?
I have no idea, but I remember one time we had like a Western themed hotel.
It was Western?
Yeah, Western.
What?
Was there a mechanical bull in the lobby or something like that?
It was people 60 and older having a reunion.
I'm pretty sure I had a deer head on my wall in my room or something like that. It was something crazy.
A deer head.
A deer head.
Like hanging over your bed?
Yeah.
Nice. Because they're trying to scare you the night before the game, I guess.
No, I mean, you had a bunch of old people out dancing, cutting the rug to 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
So
and my window.
Of course, Dez was down there.
Dez is one of the old guys, right? Yeah.
Tell me
that was coming, bro.
So when Kellen's around, I already expect that.
You should. You're old.
Stop. Stop. You're non-descript. So
I might
did I tell you my co-host nickname?
Nah, what is it?
I am non-descript.
It's the Dez Clark, Alex Brown, and the Non-descript White Guy Show.
I am non-descript.
Where's Alex? Where's Alex?
He's actually he went down to Florida. He took a day off. So
he drove in a minivan. You want to talk about
How many
old?
days does he have on?
Well, we're both unemployed right now, so we're both off.
Yeah, really.
Yes.
Alex went from being a sack monster to being a soccer dad. He drove a minivan to Florida.
All the way to Florida.
Not only did he drive a minivan, he was bragging about the minivan on Twitter.
He was tweeting about driving
the gas mileage a minivan gets.
Tell me this. How's my guy Debo doing? Now, for the listeners who don't know, Debo is the tight ends coach who last year was one of those coaches I kind of question a little bit from time to time. And this year, he seemed like he was a better coach. Not that he was a bad coach last year, but he was a much better coach this year. And I think it was just because he was more comfortable in the system. How's my guy Debo doing?
Debo came into his own a little bit. You know, he kind of grew a pair after he got settled in and whatnot. He tries to make his jokes now, stuff like that.
So the meetings are.
He knows what he's doing, but on game days, man, like he
get tight again.
Oh yeah, he's out of the box. He's on the field now.
I know.
And so
you remember I was in the preseason.
I get I get updates on everything that comes through the headsets.
Wow. So tell me this. When you guys are making jokes in the meeting room, is it still going clean over his head?
I mean, it's about 50-50 now.
It's about 50-50. He's catching some of them.
He catches some of them.
Last year when we used to make jokes in the meeting room, we'll laugh and he would look at us. Okay, so on this play, he didn't get it. And so it was an odd type of thing.
It was odd.
When we would be cracking up about something and our coach didn't get it and he was wanting to move on to the next play. So. But I'm glad Debo is doing good. How's the rest of the guys? You know what? How's my guy Andre Smith? People may not know about Andre Smith, a young rookie tight end that was undrafted, just like Kyle Adams. He's on the active roster now. How's my young Dre doing?
He actually, because I didn't practice yesterday, so he actually took some reps.
Okay.
And he did good. I mean, he's been paying attention. Obviously it's a transition from being on practice squad to being one of the active guys, and actually having to be involved in the playbook and be accountable for what's in it. So I thought he's been doing a real good job, and he should be a solid third for us. I mean, of course, we'd rather have you there.
Yeah, I would rather be there than to be here with my
nondescript white guy.
Yeah, I'll let you say.
I
didn't really want to call you my friend.
I see that. I got you. I just want to say that I'd rather be here than stuck in a cheesy hotel in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Appleton, that's exactly where it's at.
Thank you, J-Mac.
J-Mac sent that in?
J-Mac sent that in.
We're going back to Appleton, wherever that is.
Tell me this. And with Mike Martz, when you were here, it was me, you, and Greg Olson. The position was a position of strength. We were looked to make plays. Then Mike Martz come in, and now honestly, the tight end position is an anonymous position because you don't hear you guys name.
Which is odd compared to you see guys like Jimmy Graham, Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez, Tony Gonzalez, and Antonio Gates just blowing up the scene,
right? Setting
records like never before. And here in Chicago,
and some of
the tight end is nondescript.
And Gates.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No, but this
was awesome.
But Gates is one of those guys that's in this same offense. And what I was going to get to is it became a position that's, you don't hear you guys' name called a lot, but coming out of camp, a lot of people were saying, well, Dez, you should be there. And what I kept saying to people is Kellen Davis is going to be the man. You can look for him to catch 40 passes and maybe 6 touchdowns in the red zone because in camp, that was your go-to. Why haven't we seen those numbers that we expected to see out of the tight end position from this year?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, practice is pretty much every day the same. I catch a lot of balls in practice, just like I did all camp. And in the games, my numbers just don't get called, and we don't run a lot of plays that we call. So, you know how it is in our offense. It's just one of those things. I mean, I can't throw the ball to myself, but I try to make plays when the ball comes to me. So.
Well, I'm going to say this for you, and I'm just like I was telling people at the beginning of the year. If Kellen Davis is not catching passes and not catching touchdowns, it's probably not his fault because the guy is a good tight end. People ask me all the time.
Who said he's not catching touchdowns? He's got 4 this season. Your prediction was 6. Still 2 games left.
Well, you know what? That goes to show you how nondescript it has been for the tight ends because I thought you only had 3 touchdowns. So, yeah, you might be on.
I'm not even going to say it because I'm going to use that as a trivia question later, so not going to say it. But he's got 4 this year.
And he had, I know where you're going with this.
All right.
And Matt Spaeth has 2 touchdowns, right?
Yep, Matt's got 2.
I mean, you are getting production there in the red zone. But I'm telling you, for the people that don't know, this guy was catching 2 to 3 touchdowns a day in practice in the red zone. So I expect a little more. I'm sure you expect a little more. But you know what? Like I used to say when I was the starting tight end, I only do what they ask me to do. That's the same thing that you're doing right now. You develop into a hell of a blocker. But I think that's because of me, because I used to put my hands on you and show you how to lock people up. No,
I'm sorry. Did he just say he used to put his hands on you?
Yeah.
This.
Check yourself first of all.
First off, you're putting your hands on him?
Like this.
Now, obviously, Dez has had too much time on those hands.
I guess so.
So he wants to get real physical.
He's got a lot of time on his hands these days.
I feel good.
And he's
I'm
talking
not
about
sore.
one time.
I'm not sore.
Oh my goodness,
we wrestled in the locker room.
It wasn't in the locker room. It was on the field.
Dez got all serious. Tried to like leg sweep me or something. Old man takedown.
The old man. What is an old man takedown? I want to know this.
Old man takedown is a sneaky takedown. Where it's not like a head up battle. It's like, oh okay, I got your leg.
Actually,
the old man takedown.
It was during pregame warm up out on the field.
It was on the field.
Yes, and I took him down.
See, I ain't never gonna live that up, but what I'm saying is I felt bad because I was scared that Dez might be suffering from brittle bone syndrome or something like that.
Brittle bone.
And I'm a strong guy, so I might have actually hurt the dude. So I just kind of let him do it.
Would you bring him like some calcium tablets to make, strengthen those bones?
You're just enjoying this.
Like here, have some milk. It does the body good.
You're enjoying
Little
this.
King Cobra might help with the memory of the hotels too.
Hey, we want to thank Kellen Davis for dropping by the Des Clark Alex Brown show. Hey, we appreciate it, buddy. Hey,
if he doesn't mind, I'd like to ask him a couple of quick questions.
Okay, well.
Kellen Davis out of Michigan State. Got to ask the question. Do you feel the snub? Michigan finishes second in the Legends division, but gets a BCS game. Michigan State, doesn't, and they win it, and they go to the Big Ten championship game. Instead, they play New Year's Day in the Outback Bowl against actually a really stout Georgia team.
Yeah, we still got a good bowl game, but obviously we beat Michigan and we played for the championship. But that's kind of the way college football is. It's kind of backwards sometimes, with the whole BCS system and everything. So I'm proud of my guys, and I wish we could have got the what bowl game are they going to? They're going to Sugar Bowl, right?
The Michigan State?
Michigan. They're going to Sugar, right?
I think it's the Sugar.
So, yeah.
It's BCS. Anyways, BCS.
It's a BCS, a lot more money to the school bowl.
And I feel like we deserve that, and I'm sure a lot of fans do too. But
BCS stands for Big Cash Schools.
Oh yeah. Everybody keeps talking about abolishing the BCS, but it's way too much money for all the schools and NCAA. It's never going to happen.
It's a ton of money out there, but Michigan State is looking good. Cousins is looking really sharp these days on the field. Is he coming out? Is that a guy that you would think might be good as a backup?
I just like betting against Michigan State because I won a lot of money off.
Actually, just so you know, Des has never won a bet against Michigan State.
What?
Never.
What?
Are you
He's
serious?
Never won a bet.
You're owing whatever you are. You know that, right?
I
That's
am
a
feeling
fact.
that right now.
Yes, you are. However many times we bet, you've lost. Every single one.
Not true.
See, that's what happens.
And I may be suffering from dementia. I'll go ahead and throw the joke out there for you.
What was the last bet? Who's going to make the team?
No, we bet on games. And I never.
You're funny, huh?
That was a low blow. That should have made the team.
He should have.
Say that.
I believe he should have.
I don't pay attention to this guy over here.
But anyways, like I was saying, Dez would always come up to me and ask for a bet against us. I would never go to him and say, oh, he would just take random teams against us.
You just pick random teams
not
against
a fan
Michigan
of
State.
any other team, just a fan of trying to beat us.
I did do that. Every other week it was like, you want to bet?
Nah,
And you would pick anybody who was playing Michigan State.
Who you guys playing? Okay, I'll take them.
So you lost a lot because Michigan State honestly has been doing quite well
I probably
recently.
lost more than I won, but I didn't lose every last one of them.
every one of them.
Kellen Davis, 4-year veteran out of Michigan State, coming to the Des Clark Alex Brown show. Hopefully you'll be sticking around a lot longer. By the way, the answer is 6 foot 7 inches. I heard some people.
Let me ask you this before you leave. Has there been any talk about contract extension keeping you here?
Nope, nah, nothing at all. And obviously this is my last year, so it's going to be an interesting offseason for me. So,
yeah.
Well, like I told you, for the last 2-3 years, however many years I've been playing with you, just keep doing what you're doing, keep getting better. you'll get just what you deserve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Kellen Davis, everybody, can y'all give it up for Kellen Davis?
Big round of applause for the Bears. Kellen Davis in the house.
Appreciate it. We're going to go on a short 4 or 5 minute break.
We're going to be giving away
you guys don't go anywhere.
We're going to be giving away a quick prize. I think we're going to be giving away some of the 88 Grub Rub.
Yeah, what you know about that?
88 Grub Rub.
I have
It's
some.
the award-winning spice rub for all your grilling barbecue needs. We're going to be giving away a sample of that today to anybody in the house. Here's the question in the house. The first person to correctly raise their hand, please do not shout this out. Raise their hand. I see. No, I haven't even asked the question yet. The question is, since Mr. Kellen Davis is here, how many career touchdowns in his 4-year career with the Bears has Kellen Davis caught? How many touchdowns in his 4-year career has he caught? Regular season only. What you got, Des? We got some hands up.
In the jacket.
11 is not correct. I'm sorry. Thanks for playing. You're showing you don't know.
3. He has 4 this year.
He has 4 this season, so the career is not 3. No. Any other answer? I'm sorry, what's the answer? 9 is not correct. You guys have no love for Kellen Davis today. Who you got next, Des? We got one right here. How many? 11 was wrong the first time. It's wrong the second time.
Okay, so we're gonna have a winner by default because they're gonna just.
I'm gonna give one more shot here. Otherwise, I'm gonna take this grub rub.
17.
It is not 17. We like the answer, but it's not 17. I'm gonna tell you it's lower than 17, unfortunately. Right where we got? I can't see. 15. The answer is not 15. You're too high. Okay, can't just keep shouting out numbers.
You're cold.
What do we got here? The Mizzou guy.
I got a lady back here in the back.
The answer is not 12. The young woman back there. The answer is indeed 8, Miss Google. The answer is indeed 8. Come on up. You can meet Dylan. Meet Dylan. Meet Dylan and Kez. Meet Kellen and Des and grab some of your 88 Grub Rub. Come on up. And we're back on the Des Clark and Alex Brown show here at Tilted Kilt.
Without Alex Brown.
Without Alex Brown. But we're still live from the Tilted Kilt, 447 North Milwaukee Avenue in Vernon Hills, Illinois. By the way, Vernon Hills has a lovely holiday light show just about maybe a mile and a half away from the Tilted Kilt. So come on out. Afterwards, you can check out the display with the family. I think that'd be great.
Is that the Cuneo Museum?
Okay, sounds good. It's off of Route 60. It's over there.
You're not a Burbs guy at all.
City. I mean, come on. Don't
you like coming up here to the Burbs every week? It's fresh air up here, grass, trees.
And not any less traffic. Actually, it took me longer to get here. Like, to get off the interstate to get here because of all the crazy shopping. Coming up here on the Edens today, I have to tell you that there's about 40 cars in line at the exit ramp to go to Old Orchard Mall. Unbelievable today.
It's not usually that much traffic up here, but during the holiday season, I guess people come up here to do their shopping. Like the barbecue man stopped by today.
The barbecue man stopped by because he's doing his Christmas shopping.
Shopping here in Vernon Hills.
Yes, exactly.
Great shopping district.
Just a reminder, we just had Bears starting tight end Kellen Davis on the show with us. We're going to continue doing the show. You can call in and ask any questions. If you had questions for Kellen, you could have called in then, but we look forward to hearing from you. The phone number is 773-382-8732. So call on in, or you can ask us some questions on our chat room that streams live during the show at DesClarkShow.com.
Yes, sir. If you want to text us, you can text us at 407-335-9499. If you want to tweet us, you can tweet Mr. Ryan Steele at WCRT Chicago, and you can tweet me at DesClark88. Getting back to the conversation
let's get back to
the Bears. And that was a great interview with Kellen Davis.
Bad news Bears?
It's basically what they are right now. I mean, you think about it, though. Do you blame the drop, just flat out drop out of the playoff race, totally on injuries, or is it?
You got to pin it on the injury. I mean, under Jay Cutler, we were thriving, and then within a matter of 2 weeks, maybe 5 plays, we lost Matt Forte and Jay Cutler.
And now we lost probably.
Actually, I take it back. There's a whole game where Matt Forte played in Oakland, but a couple plays into the Kansas City game, unfortunately, Matt Spate mixed as a block.
and down goes Forte.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up when Kellen was here. Kellen's 6'7". I'm not going to bring that up.
And Matt Forte is like one of his best friends also.
I'm not bringing that up.
And then this week, we lost Knox.
We lose that hit that Johnny Knox. Did anybody see that crushing blow that Johnny Knox took? He bent over backwards. If you want, you can see on my recent Twit pics, you can see a photo of that exact moment at WCRT Chicago. On Twitter, you can look it up. It was not the kindest of hits.
No, it wasn't. I've never seen anything like that in my life where a guy gets bent back, not at the hip or the waist. His back is almost folded in half, and so he had to have surgery. But the good news on that is that he's going to be able to regain all his function and play football again. That's
what they're saying. It's going to take 3 to 4 months of rehab. He had a broken joint where the vertebra goes in his back, in his spinal cord. That was what happened, and they had to go in and do surgery the next day.
It sounds like a more gruesome injury than it really was, but, thank God he wasn't hurt that bad. And just talking about surgeries, I mean, Gabe Karimi had to go back in for another surgery.
Another knee surgery, I know. And unfortunately, I wonder if Gabe Karimi is going to start to get that injury-prone tag. He had something similar while he was at Wisconsin. Comes out, plays a few games, gets injured, and now he's got to go back for yet another surgery. Is this guy going to be able to come out and be that bookend tackle that we need?
Well, just reading about the surgery that he's getting now, it's not to repair anything. It's to tighten up some of the ligaments and I guess the joints around that kneecap just to stabilize a little bit. The question that I have, and jumping down a little bit, is our GM, Jerry Angelo, he came out and said that they knew about him and his bad knee, but still, yet they went out and drafted him with the first-round pick.
Not only did they draft him with the first-round pick, they kind of screwed over Baltimore with that pick, if I remember right.
How did they screw over Baltimore?
They had agreed to make a trade with Baltimore to jump over a draft. So, like, Baltimore, and I forget the exact numbers, say 26, right?
Okay.
And then Baltimore was waiting for the Bears to turn in the paperwork with the league so that the Bears could take the 26th pick rather than having the 28th pick.
Okay.
Time ran out while Jerry Angelo never turned in that paperwork, allowing whoever was number 27, and honestly I forget who it was, to make their pick.
And when Baltimore lost their pick.
No, they didn't lose it.
They lost their spot.
Well, yeah, but whom the 2017 picked was not Gabe Karimi anyway, so Jerry Angelo just shoved his hands in his pockets, never gave the compensation to Baltimore. Baltimore then quickly ran up to the podium and took their pick, and then the Bears went ahead and took Gabe Karimi.
Wow. I didn't watch the draft this year, and I was actually in New York right around the corner from the draft, so I didn't watch it, but I was not privy to that story. So
yeah, he really kind of screwed over Baltimore, and I have a hunch that there will never be another trade with Baltimore as long as Jerry Angelo is with the Chicago Bears.
And staying on the topic of Jerry Angelo, does he warrants coming back next year? Because and just let me set this up for you, set up my argument.
Okay.
I don't really think that he warrants another chance to come back next year, and this is why.
He's under contract for next year, so let's preface it with that.
That doesn't matter. I mean, you see players, you see owners, not owners, but coaches and GMs fired with 2, 3, 4 years left on the contract. And we're going to talk about some of these other coaches that got fired. But you have a team that went to the NFC Championship game, so obviously you expect for them to take that next step. But when you go into a season with no depth on your offensive side of the ball,
none.
Offensive line, it's been a hodgepodge for 3 years. The guys have come together and played decent at times this year. You don't have a backup quarterback to speak of. You don't have anything to write home about as far as a star receiver to surround Jake Cutler with the necessary products that he need on the field. I think that it's time to say bye-bye, we need something different, because I don't think that this team is going to increase its talent level with Jerry Angelo as the general manager.
I have to say that Jerry Angelo by far has to be one of the worst evaluators of talent and possibilities, and the talent level that someone can strive to that I have seen in the NFL. I mean, you want to go around the league and look at teams that have consistently been there and go, how are they consistently producing? You look at drafts from teams such as Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Green Bay. They are consistently grabbing talent in the draft. Look at those wide receivers in Green Bay, all those weapons. Who drafted them? The Green Bay Packers. They weren't free agent acquisitions. The best player on the Bears. Right now, who is, without a doubt, the best player at their position on the Bears?
Julius Peppers.
Julius Peppers, free agency. Not drafted.
It's only a few names on the Bears that you could say that were because of Jerry Angelo. You can't even say Brian Urlacher because
Brian was
he was
1999 before Jerry Angelo came to town.
You could say
Lance Briggs, Matt Forte, Devin Hester, all drafted by Jerry Angelo.
But
that's about it.
Okay, and that's the draft. Let's talk about free agency. Just in the last couple of years, you bring in he hit the jackpot
with Julius Peppers. Without a doubt. But
then the other two,
he was willing to swing the trade. He was willing to swing the trade for Jay Cutler. If you're going to put all the pros in the column, let's do it. He pulled the trigger for Jay Cutler. He had to give up 2 first-round picks, which honestly, thank goodness, because he would have screwed it up anyway. You know,
and the other guys that he brought in, Manu Maliuna.
Awful.
Who they paid $6 million to send him out the door the next year.
Chester
Taylor, who they gave, I think, $4 million to send him out the door the next year.
And
Roy Williams this year.
God bless Roy Williams at the wide receiver position.
Who they're probably going to show the exit again. And then they also brought in, they brought in a good backup running back this year.
Marion Barber. I ran out of bounds and dropped the ball in the lineup incorrectly. Barber.
But he has been a decent fill-in.
He's been decent, however. Marion Barber
a lot of mistakes.
He makes a lot of rookie mistakes. He's an injury-prone running back that makes a ton of mistakes. He didn't even practice again today.
Well, it's the end of the year. He's a running back.
I understood.
So I understand not practicing.
To Kellen's credit, Kellen Davis was just with us. Kellen actually made the practice field today. It was a little limited, but his back has been giving him all sorts of problems. He sat out, but he will more than likely play this Sunday. The jury is out on whether or not Marion Barber will suit up. The Bears activated the running back from the practice squad and signed another one to the practice squad. We also went out and activated Max Comer, who is a wide receiver from the practice squad.
He was here earlier this year.
None of whom were drafted by Jerry. I should not have this job. I would lie to my own wife, Angela.
I would lie to my own wife?
Yes, I believe he would. I honestly believe that Jerry Angelo would lie to his own wife.
So
it's probably the only reason she married him.
Wow, I'm not going to touch that.
I'll touch that. I'm a nondescript white guy. He can't pick me out in a crowd.
Well, he definitely could pick me out in a crowd. He picked me out and released me.
He would just look for the oldest, tight end around.
I am that guy.
Yeah, around, meaning Chicagoland.
No, I am that guy in the NFL.
No, Tony Gonzalez.
I am the oldest free agent.
You're the oldest free agent tight end in the NFL that hasn't really gotten a lot of snaps in the last 2 years, so you're probably the healthiest tight end around.
I feel good.
My
knees feel good. And somebody else who should be feeling good right now is Josh McCown. He's been named the starter for the Chicago Bears after being a football coach for the last however many months.
He played in the UFL and was like a high school football coach.
But the question is, if you have a starter, if you have Josh McCown as your starter and you have Nathan Enderle sitting there as your 5th-round draft pick, would you play Josh McCown or would you play Nathan Enderle?
Well, honestly, in this game coming up, I do believe
the Bears made the right choice. You're playing the juggernaut of the Green Bay Packers. You're playing in a very hostile environment in the oldest rivalry in the NFL between the Green Bay Packers, and you're going to put in a rookie in that situation.
Well,
you are allowing him to fail from the get-go, and you're going to let Mike Martz call the plays. Double whammy. I honestly agree. Throw McCown out there. Let him get beat around. Let Enderle play quarterback next week in Minnesota against a 2-13 team that is in a dome in a controlled enviment. But
this is what I don't understand.
Crazy.
Okay, you draft a guy. You drafted him. And then you bring somebody off the street who wasn't even suited up in a uniform, and you play that guy before you play the guy that you drafted. What is that saying about the guy that you drafted?
He's saying he's a work in progress?
But look, if he's a work in progress, it's either one or two things. He sucks, or it's the system that he's not getting. I don't want to say he sucks. I've seen him a little bit in camp. He seemed like he has some capability to grow into a pretty decent quarterback, but that's yet to be seen. If I'm the GM, and
I mean, and they didn't bump Enderle above Caleb Haney for what, 1 week of the preseason, and he got more snaps in that preseason game than did Caleb Haney. And maybe they're just saying, hey, he's got potential, and he's not there yet. Let's get McCown on the field, let him get knocked around by Clay Matthews, a little bit, and then allow. Well, I guess it's not even a good thing because now you're going to go to Minnesota and allow their defensive front.
Yeah, you're talking about Big 69 over there.
I'm talking about the Big 69 coming in and just breathing down. So I do believe that Enderle's going to get in the game in Minnesota. I would doubt if we see him unless McCown gets injured. I still think Haney comes back in against the Green Bay Packers. Well, that's the question. McCown's a starter, but who's number 2 right now? Is it Haney or is it Enderle?
Right now, with the season on the brink, if they're close, you bring Haney back in. If it's not a close game, you put your rookie in, and let's see what we got this year going into next year. So that's how I would play it if I was the coaching staff, if I was the GM. That's how I would order my quarterbacks.
I definitely would like to see what I have. Caleb Haney is not under contract next year. It's pretty much a given he'll be gone. You're looking at Nathan Enderle, who you signed as, I believe, a 5th-round draft pick. He's going to be back. He's under contract. You want to give him a chance to see what you have in that gentleman. So I do believe you'll see a lot of Enderle in the Minnesota game. Not so sure you'll see him this weekend in Green Bay.
Well, you know what you have here with the Des Clark, Alex Brown show. You have Des Clark and you have Ryan Steele.
The nondescript white guy coming in.
Yes, sir. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. If you want to get in on the conversation, you could dial 773-382-8372. If you want to come out to the show, we still have an hour left in the show. We are at the Tilted Kilt in Vernon Hills. If you want to text us and get in on the show, that way you could text us at 407-335-9499 or tweet me or Ryan at Des Clark 88 and Ryan at WCRT Chicago. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the show, Jimmy. You're live on the Des Clark and Alex Brown show. Just to let all your friends and family know, if you go to facebook.com/Des Clark show, within the next day or two, we're going to have this full episode on there so they can watch it.
All right, sounds good.
I hope your friends are right now tweeting and texting all their loved ones to let you know that you've won the contest to be on our show. We're working a little microphone issue for you, but that's all right. All right, well, Des, before the break, we were talking about how Josh McCown has been named starter for the Bears up in Green Bay.
Right, and
are we looking at a Christmas Day massacre?
I think, man, we got some Bears in the house, so this hard for me to say.
We do have some Chicago Bears in the house. We got to be careful. They could kick my butt. After all, I'm only a nondescript white guy.
What I don't get is, what's the point of starting McCown for this game if hope is lost for the season?
Is hope lost for the season? Technically, the Bears are not out of the playoffs yet.
Well, what do we need? We need the Lions to lose out or the Falcons to lose out?
Honestly, by the time that the Bears play on Sunday, we should know.
Well, I'm looking at this, and I don't see a lot of hope because right now we're not scoring enough. We're not scoring enough points to win any games right now. In order for us to beat the Green Bay Packers, our defense have to play a flawless game, hold them to 14 points, and we have to score at least 21 points for us to win the game. You agree with that, Jimmy?
Well, basically, the defense has to score 21 points, or Devin Hester has to score 21 points, because you know the offense isn't going to.
Well, you never know what the offense is going to do it or not. Josh McCown could extend a few plays, make a pass here and there. We've been just one pass here and there away from winning. Well, I won't say the Seattle game. The Seattle game was a complete disaster in that second half. But, you know, the Denver game, if in the fourth quarter we get one first down.
That's just unacceptable for us to beat Green Bay. And honestly, I don't see it. It's going to take the special team scoring a touchdown. We got to get something out of Devin Hester.
Without a doubt.
If we don't get anything out of Devin Hester in that return game or a block punt or something like that, I don't see us winning this game. We have to get 3 turnovers, whether it be fumbles, whether it be interceptions, whatever it may be. We got to get 3 takeaways to win this game. And we also have to have a monster game out of our two-headed backfield. We got to have 150 yards out of those guys.
At least. Got to take some of the pressure off Josh McCown as he battles in his first start in years up in Green Bay.
So let me ask Jimmy this.
All right, Jimmy, you're on the spot.
If the Bears are to win this game, what are the key matchups that we have to win?
Well, obviously we need to stop Aaron Rodgers, which no one can seem to do.
Well, actually, Kansas City did a fine job last week, and don't forget the Packers' offensive line has taken some hits.
Well, that's the one matchup that looks favorable right now. With Balaga out at the end, with moving Julius Peppers around, it looks like we will be able to get some pressure, and that's what you need to do with Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, his favorite target, Greg Jennings, probably will not play again as well.
Yeah, he's down, and that's, like you say, his favorite target. But saying that, okay, let's go down the list of other targets that he has to throw the ball to. And I think without Greg Jennings there, I don't think that hurts this team as much as it would hurt another team losing their number one receiver. You still have Jordy Nelson still there catching a lot of passes.
Well, yeah, he spreads the ball around.
He does spread the ball. I think Jermichael Finley is going to have a gigantic. The Bears defense gives up tight end points.
Well, the last time they played the Packers, Jermichael Finley had 3 touchdowns.
The triumvirate.
So when you look at that and you look at the way that things are going right now for the Bears, and you look at Green Bay coming off of a loss, you know, I really think that Green Bay needed this loss going into the postseason so they could reestablish themselves going into it if they're going to win. Right now for our Bears, we're in desperation.
Desperation is an understatement.
So saying that, I think you may get a better game this week just because Green Bay, they're trying to reestablish themselves, and our Bears are in desperation. So they have nothing to lose right now. So you're going to see what we have to offer out on the field and on display this Sunday.
My question, Jimmy, if you were Lovie Smith, I won't even say Jerry Angelo, if you were Lovie Smith and you got to be, instead of co-host of the Des Clark and Alex Brown show for the day, you got to be Bears football coach for the day, what would be your keys to the game? First off, who would you have as your quarterback, number one, and what would you want to establish on the field to get it going the right way?
I would actually stick with Caleb Haney. I know
Really?
Smoking something? Can I have whatever you're smoking?
You know what? The offense will be more comfortable with Haney in there than throwing McCown in, who we just signed.
They look real comfortable these last 4 games.
As they threw more touchdowns to the opponents than to Bears receivers.
You know, but there's no point in putting McCown in there. I don't think he gives us a better chance to win the game. He's not going to be around next year. Haney will be, or Enderle will be. I don't think there's any point to starting McCown.
All right. What else? So that's your starting quarterback. What would be your keys to the game? What would you emphasize?
Getting pressure on Rodgers. Absolutely have to get pressure on Rodgers.
I honestly believe he's right on this one. I think if the Bears can force a few turnovers, that is going to be their only hope. You mentioned it. And I think Aaron Rodgers can be forced into that. We saw last week in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. We're going to need a consistent push from Peppers, Idonije, Melton, Wooten. We're going to need to see that pressure up front and see if we can get that on. I would hope that we don't blitz as much. I think we need to get consistent pressure out of our front 4.
We're saying get consistent pressure, but we're saying get consistent pressure on the MVP of the league this year. Pressure for MVP, he can deal with that pressure.
Is he the MVP? Are you giving him to? Are you anointing him with the MVP? If he fails, let's say the Bears pull the upset on Sunday, the Packers lose their final game, and then they lose in the first round of the playoffs. Is he still the MVP?
Yes, because the MVP is for the regular season.
Okay, Drew Brees continues his pace, blows away Marino's single-season passing record, leads and catches up because I don't know if the Saints have the tiebreaker against the Packers or not, finish the regular season with the same exact record as the Packers. Is Aaron Rodgers still the NFL MVP?
At that point, Jimmy,
I think he is too.
You think he is?
Yeah, I think he is.
Even if they lose the last 2 games, at that point, now you have an argument.
I mean, it's not like either of these quarterbacks are on a team that has a defense that is winning them games.
I think the New Orleans Saints defense has played a whole lot better than
the Packers defense.
Well,
yeah,
they're kind of similar. They're kind of mirror images of each other because they give up a lot of yards, but they both make plays to get the ball back for their offense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those defenses that is high risk, high reward type defense. So if it comes down to these two quarterbacks at this point in time, I don't think that anybody is playing better football than Aaron Rodgers, even if you got a Drew Brees that's going to break the single-season passing record. So,
and he has spoken.
I have.
He has spoken. I mean, honestly, are we giving the MVP? Are we just awarding the MVP? First off, let's give a little credit to the Kansas City Chiefs. 3-1 versus the NFC North this year. You got it. A little credit to the Kansas City Chiefs. 3-1 against the NFC North. Only the Detroit Lions were able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So I guess we're going to give it to. But let's talk about Kansas City. Since they were the last team to beat the Green Bay Packers, they did so with a brand new coach, an interim head coach. Romeo Crennel is the interim head coach after kicking Todd Haley to the curb. Is he your guy?
Which I don't understand. It's a couple fires that I don't understand. Todd Haley is one of those fires because they won the division just last year. They're in the playoffs last year. I believe for him to be fired, it had to be something else internally that was going on. The other fire that I really don't understand is Tony Soprano. He's a guy after a 4-game win streak. They lose one game, and now he's fired when he's getting it turned around.
He was already on the hot seat.
Yeah, he was on the hot seat for a while.
Before this season started, it took him a while to get there. Yeah, they had some quarterback health issues, but they really never had. I mean,
you go back to last year, and they had already started talking to other coaches while he was still the coach.
They
of the
wanted Harbaugh.
Right. So that was very, very, very disrespectful. Jimmy, who other guys on the hot seat that you would say are in the balance of keeping or losing their job this year?
I think Coughlin in New York, actually. I think it's a make or break with Tom Coughlin in New York for this year. If they go out and lose the division, I think Coughlin's gone for sure.
Yeah, I could personally see Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Norv Turner's already been rumored to be given the door, even though they're making their traditional December run. Leslie Frazier up in Minnesota. That season's been a complete disaster up there.
But you know what? This is his first full season up there. I believe he gets a pass for this season. Next year, if it's the same.
Yeah, I believe finally the one that more than likely is going to get the heave-ho as soon as this season ends is going to be Raheem Morris in Tampa Bay.
They was talking about Raheem actually being fired 2 Mondays ago, and he's stuck around, and they have lost, 8 games in a row?
Yeah, so we're not even through the end of the season. We still have 2 weeks to go. We've had several fightings. Jack Del Rio is out in Jacksonville. We have a new owner down there. We have Tony Sperano that was shown the door down in Miami, and Todd Haley that's out in Kansas City. So we've already 3 openings. And we just discussed 5 other names, so it's a potential of 8 new head coaches, let alone any surprises that might come out of the woodwork. Who do you think? Who you got?
I'm going to let Jimmy answer this. Who is the best head coaching candidate out there right now that's in the booth or just sitting at home?
I think Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher is still out there. He's not doing anything, but the thing with Bill Cowher
he's doing something. He's doing a job where he makes a lot of money and doesn't have the stress.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think. He'll only take an opening. That's the right place for him. He'll take probably the Giants if he was offered it, I bet. And there's still Gruden out there, but I don't think Gruden's moving anytime soon from TV.
I think Gruden absolutely loves his job.
Yeah, I think he likes it.
Yeah, making those faces.
What about Gruden? I love my job.
let me tell you about this guy.
All right.
He's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I'm going to tell you that Colin Kaepernick is the best quarterback to come out, and in Jimmy Harbaugh's system, he's going to do great things. Hey, with that being said, I love Gruden down there better than Tony Kornheiser. I hope Monday Night Football learned from that idiotic move.
I think they had enough of the experiments. Rush Limbaugh.
Jim Miller.
Jim Miller.
No, Dennis Miller. Dennis Miller. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that, Jim. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But
Dennis Miller. And then
if you're the head, let's say you're the owner or general manager of Well, they're in Miami. They're going to bring in a new general manager, rumored in Peterson. But what if you're like Scott Pioli in Kansas City?
Well,
Romeo Crennel wins your game. Correct me if I'm wrong, he was with Pioli in New England.
New England. And I think you got to kind of look at what are you trying to bring in. If you're trying to make a splash with the hiring, you look at Cowher, you look at Fisher, you go after Gruden.
Those are the names you need if you need to sell tickets.
Right. If you're looking for an offensive-minded guy, you look at a Russ Grimm, you look at a Brian Schottenheimer, a Brian Billick. If you're looking for a defensive guy, you got guys out there like Rob Ryan, like Greg Williams. So Perry Fuel is a guy who was hot earlier this year, but not so
Giants,
much right now. So those are some names that you could look at and say.
There is a huge name that none of us has mentioned, and I honestly am shocked that he didn't get another position this year. And we're talking about former Bear, former Tennessee Titan head coach, guy who actually brought his team to the Super Bowl, and Jeff Fisher.
Well, I think Jeff Fisher is the #1 candidate out there right now. I think a lot of these guys, they're looking for that perfect situation. And tell you the truth, I think they like their jobs in the booth. So if they don't get that perfect
situation. Is Jeff Fisher in the booth?
Yeah, what is Jeff Fisher
that's
doing?
what I'm saying. The other guys. That's why I say
I think he's the top candidate.
I think he's the top guy.
If you're Jeff Fisher and you have your choice of any of these potential openings, which one do you take?
If the New York job comes open.
I'm talking about the Giants.
I think that's number one.
With Eli Manning, Hakeem Nicks, Mario Manningham,
you
Mod
have
Bradshaw.
everything in place there.
Or the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles are loaded too. If Andy Reid gets fired, then
I would go. Yeah, I think Eagles or the Giants. Well, let's just say that nobody else gets fired.
The Chargers.
Let's say nobody else gets fired, and you only have those three openings that we already mentioned: the Dolphins, Kansas City, or Jacksonville Jaguars.
Nobody's going to Jacksonville.
And that's a shame because I really like their new owner.
I'm quite sure you do.
U of I grad.
And y'all was in the same fraternity?
Oh, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of know him a little bit.
Shahid Khan, give me some mustache.
So tell me this, Jimmy. You're a head coaching prospect. Which one of these jobs will appeal to you more than the other? Kansas City, Miami, Jacksonville.
Those top three.
I would think Kansas City right now.
Really?
Just because the AFC West, it's anybody's game out there. They have potential to win their division next year. Do the Dolphins or are they in that position that they could win their division next year? No.
I can see that. That job is screaming quarterback controversy immediately.
It is.
You're going to have Matt Castle coming back off the injury. You have Kyle Orton that has looked impressive in his first game out. And there's going to be a lot of clamoring for that. We've seen what's been going on in Denver with the quarterback issue out there. The media pressure can be vicious.
That's a good problem to have, though, is a quarterback controversy, because that means that you have two possible.
We definitely don't have that here in Chicago.
Yeah, not at all. So
we don't have that. Maybe in our next segment we can talk about who some potential backups would be. With the announcement of Matt Barkley today that he's going to stay at USC, that would have been a potential possibility that he would fall to the Bears in the draft.
I think he would have been a top 10 pick.
Really?
Yeah.
I think RG3, if he comes out, would supplant
top 10
Barkley.
Top 10, yes.
There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. I think you're going to see a lot of draft day trades. Hence, I think Kansas City is a good position because you actually do have two established quarterbacks that you can choose from. If the New York job opens up, without a doubt, I think that's number one. 1A right behind it would be San Diego if that one opens up. And then like a very close second would be the Philadelphia Eagle job. But I honestly don't believe Andy Reid's going anywhere.
And we're talking about jobs opening up. One job that's going to open up here is the offense coordinator job. And when that job opens up.
Will it open up? Are you sure that Mike Martz is being shown the door?
I think so. But my question is, when Mike Martz get out there.
I think we should do a poll.
Is he going to be one of those guys that say that.
Would I hire him as a head coach? Would I hire Mike Martz as a head coach? I would hire him as a water boy. I would hire Mike Martz. Is there anybody in this room that actually think Mike Martz is doing a good job? Anybody?
Well, we got a couple offensive linemen.
We have a few people that might have to not answer that for protection of their job right now. But there's nobody in this room that honestly believes Mike Martz.
Back here.
You actually think Mike Martz is a good coach? Would you hire him to be your head coach if you were an owner?
No.
Would anybody in this room hire Mike Martz to be their water boy? And we have some applause. I think that tells you all you need to know about Mike Martz and everything he should be in the NFL right now.
Obviously, you're not a Mike Martz fan.
You know, there was some rumors that Mike Martz was going to go coach
Arizona State.
And I see Jimmy's wearing the shirt.
Yeah, Jimmy, you guys are you an Arizona State student, alum?
Yeah, an alum, actually, yeah.
He's an Arizona State alum, and they kind of screwed over Pitt.
And y'all have a pretty big game tonight.
Yeah, we're getting smoked last I saw.
Yeah, it's 21-3.
21-3. Boise State is pounding.
In the Mako Bowl.
I think even Mike Martz could put more than 3 points on the board.
You think? But maybe next year Graham will do a better job out of Pittsburgh?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So you as an alum to Arizona State, you're going to make the big money here pretty soon. Start giving some money back to Arizona State. Become one of those boosters. Would you be in favor of hiring a Mike Martz at Arizona State?
Yeah, I think I would. I would have supported it.
Really? You'd support Mike Martz in the college level?
He's actually
There are NFL players that have the game more have more grasp of the game, and they can't get Mike Martz's system, and you're going to want to put that in college.
Well, Mike Martz actually coached at Arizona State as an offensive coordinator.
So?
Yeah.
What?
A poll for the room and a poll for online. How many people, if you would want Mike Martz coaching your alma mater? Anybody Mike Martz head coach your NFL team or your college team? Anybody?
No takers.
Silence. You would. You would. You're raising your hand for everything tonight. Anybody want to detail my car?
This is what I said about Mike Martz. You know, I was able to play under him for a year. Mike Martz is truly a teacher of the game. He likes to teach. He fashioned himself as a teacher. Every position on the field, he has some input. So I believe as a college coach, he would relish that, and I think he would flourish more now in that type of a setting than the NFL setting, because he likes to be that teacher type. He likes to tell these stories, these history stories, and all these stories.
Well, back when they invented the football, it was truly made out of pigskin, and they would cut it and leave it dry.
And tell you the truth, I think a lot of college kids could really benefit from the way he coaches the game, actually, at the college level, because they're still in that mind frame of being a student. Once you get to the NFL, you left all that student stuff alone. You're still learning, but the way he teaches is I think, will be good at the college level.
All right. Want to thank Jimmy from Lake Forest. About a big round of applause for Jimmy from Lake Forest for coming on the show this night. Nice job. He held his own. You had to give him credit.
We might have to hire you full time and kick Alex Brown off the set.
I think Alex Brown's job might be in danger, honestly. In the house tonight, we have a gentleman from the Meat Consumers Packing Company.
Consumers Meat Packing.
Consumers Meat Packing Company, excuse me. Consumers Meat Packing Company. They've been great guys all night. They want to know that their meat is your investment in quality. And they have donated this wonderful box right here, which contains fillets. Some fillets. This is a great Christmas dinner. So everybody in the house, here is your trivia question. Just the other day, Pro Bowl voting online for the NFL closed.
Okay.
NFL Pro Bowl voting closed.
Did I get any votes?
Des Clark, you got one.
Did it come from you? Oh,
I voted for you.
That's sweet.
I wrote you in.
That's sweet. Appreciate it.
I wrote you in. These steaks were cut today, we're being told by the gentleman Todd. Todd is generous.
I was going to get a little graphic with how they actually got them in here. Okay, so they're nice and fresh.
They are nice and fresh. They were just cut today. So making sure, can everybody hear me inside of Tilted Kill? We're going to give away these steaks. Here is my question. And it's a two-parter. Well, I need two answers. In the Pro Bowl, there are two quarterbacks that are tied for the most career interceptions in Pro Bowl games. The number of interceptions is 8. In their careers, they threw 8 interceptions in the Pro Bowl game. Can you name those quarterbacks? Show of hands. Quarterbacks. Anybody? I need 2 quarterbacks' names. Threw 8 interceptions in the Pro Bowl during their career. Really? I don't even have any guesses.
You don't want to win your own stakes.
One guess is Bernie Kosar. That is incorrect. Anybody else know who leads the NFL? I cannot see any hands. I got one hand over here. It is not Joe Montana. Remember, I need 2 names. I need 2 names. I need hands. It was not George Blanda. Quit yelling names. I need a show of hand. And it was not Tarkenton. I honestly need you to think about who would have the most chances to throw interceptions. Who's been to the Pro Bowl most? Start with that and work your way back. I'm going to call on the person with the hands up. It is not Brett Favre, although he does lead the NFL. I do need 2 names. I need 2 names. I already said Joe Montana was wrong, number 1. And number 2, I need 2 names. 2 names. Anybody got them? I'm going to give you 1.
Or else I'm taking these stakes home with me.
I am going to give you 1 name. I think I'm dead in the house. Can you guys hear me out there?
Yep. What's the name? I got you.
The name I'm going to give away is Dan Fouts.
Dan Fouts is 1 name.
I need the other name. I need a hand raised, and then I will call. Right? It is not Dan Marino over here. It is not Bob Greasy. Good God. And I just knocked my phone on the floor, and I hope I didn't break it because I'm getting annoyed. Who do you think, honestly, has seen the Pro Bowl the most times of any quarterback that has played this game? It was not Bob Avellini or Vince Evans or Moses Moreno, all right? And it certainly wasn't Caleb Haney, who has played more games at quarterback in the Pro Bowl than any other player in the NFL. Can anybody tell me who the number 1 draft pick will be this year? Anybody? I got that. Hello. Think about it. Sarah, would you like to name the answer, please? Name me a quarterback. 1 quarterback. Any quarterback. Name me a freaking quarterback.
Chill.
It is not John Elway. Peyton Manning. Peyton freaking Manning, folks. Only the greatest quarterback probably that has ever set foot on the field right now. He has proven his value this year with the Indianapolis Colts, right? He has thrown 8 interceptions. He also has 9 Pro Bowl records, 8 other records besides that one in the Pro Bowl. 179 career passing attempts. 41 attempts in a single game. 22 completions. 1,496 yardage in the Pro Bowl. 8.36 yards per completion, and 14 Pro Bowl touchdowns. Peyton Manning.
Thank y'all for joining us tonight. To close out the show, we want to talk about a little NBA basketball.
Hooping it up.
December 25th is here real soon.
It's a Christmas gift for all you basketball fans.
So, I guess we got to start off with D Rose.
Mom, we finally made it.
I mean, that was touching. I almost shed a tear.
Mom, we finally made it.
I mean, I guess
that is some money.
$5 million, $95 million.
$95 million. He is what, a couple years in, and he already has his own exemption in the collective bargaining agreement.
The Derrick Rose exemption.
The Derrick Rose exemption.
I mean, but it couldn't happen for a better guy.
He is so contrite.
And then to have it happen here in his hometown, playing for his hometown team in front of his hometown crowd with his family and people that he grew up with, the same people that's still around him.
I think it's awesome. I can't think of a more deserving young man than Derrick Rose. He plays his heart out, and every single time he's on the floor, he never does the Scottie Pippen and takes a game off, or, oh my God, my migraine's acting up.
1.8 seconds.
Yeah. He doesn't do that. He plays his heart out to the whistle every single time. He represents truly what Chicago believes his work ethic is, a city that works.
Blue collar type work ethic.
And I applaud, not only do I applaud Derrick Rose, but I want to applaud Jerry Reinsdorf and Gar Forman for handling that business and getting it done and treating him the way he deserved to be treated. If only Jerry Angelo could watch that.
I'm sure if the Bulls brass could have gave him a 10-year deal, they probably would have.
Yeah,
because I think he's truly a guy that they want to keep around for the lifetime.
Oh, not only do you need to keep him around, you need to make sure you put him in the best position to win. And last year in the playoffs, we saw that the Heat basically just brought the taller LeBron James up to defend him because we didn't have a two guard. We had Ronnie Brewer, Kyle Korver.
I mean,
not getting the job done.
Not getting it done. So let's talk about who we just brought in, and he had his debut just the other night down in against Indianapolis. We're talking about Richard Hamilton, Rip.
And I think it was a great debut by Rip Hamilton. What I seen from him working with Rose in that backcourt, you're going to see a formidable backcourt. You've seen a guy who could get out on the break and run with Derrick Rose. You've seen a guy who could work without the ball and get open, and then as he's getting open, drawing the defense towards him and dumping the ball down.
Oh, he had a great feed of Noah.
To Noah for that
He gave
dunk.
it to Noah, and it was just that is exactly how this offense is supposed to work, and that's amazing that Rip was able to pick it up that quick.
But the thing is that you wasn't getting that last year. You
Not
wasn't
even close.
No, because the guys didn't have to worry about Keith Bogans coming off of a screen and shooting the ball. But now you have that guy who's run off the screens. Now what it does, it creates more lanes for Derrick Rose, because now that guy can't sag off of the 2 guard and help shut down that lane for the drive down the penetration down the lane.
It's going to open everything up. You're going to see. I think you're going to see a lot more points out of both Noah and Boozer in the paint, because as Derrick Rose is now able to drive, their defender, the 4 or 5 defender, is going to have to pull off of them, leaving Derrick Rose the ability to pass and get an easy layup or dunk.
So with the extra firepower that the Bulls will have, I expect Rose numbers to go down to maybe 21, 22 points a game.
His numbers will drop
But
because he
I
won't
think-
need to shoulder the load, just like Michael Jordan.
Right, but I also think that his assist numbers is going to go from 7.7 to 9 a game.
I think if his assists don't go up, then we're going to have a bad year.
I don't think we're going to have a bad year.
Well, we won't have the year we should. Derrick Rose, I believe, will find his role in this offense, which is to start to dish the ball a little bit more. They surrounded him with the talent that he needs, and if he can dish it off and the others step up, that's when you're going to really see the Bulls get to that next level.
Well, let's talk about the talent that's around them, because I believe that they have the talent around. I think that Rip Hamilton could have been that missing link. You have a probably the second best starting 5, at least on the East.
Second best?
Well, when you have LeBron James and you have D Wade and you have
Chris Bosh and Shane Battier and do you know who their center is?
No.
Oh my God! Honestly, the name is Eddie Curry
from Chicago.
Eddie Curry did a non-guaranteed contract and made the team.
But just those 3 guys alone.
I agree.
So
I'm not a big fan of Bosh. I don't think Bosh is going to be that big player. He always kind of shrinks in the big games. D-Wade, to me, is still should be the go-to man on that. He has proven it time and time again. He's the only one with a ring of those.
Right. But that team, the Miami Heat, is the only team that I say, at least in the East, maybe in the whole entire league, that have an argument for a better starting 5. When you have D Rose, when you have Rip Hamilton, when you have Boozer, a former All-Star, you have
Boozer can regain his level. Yes.
Right. And for all, it's looking like he's going to be that. He's slimmed down 20 pounds, so he's able to run up and down the floor. What we need out of Boozer is a more concerted defensive effort out of him to shut down some of those guys in the post. But then you have a Joakim Noah, and then you have we can't forget about Luol Deng.
Deng is always going to be that slasher kind of coming from the corner, the 3-man. Noah's going to be the key. I mean, Noah struggled a lot last year with some injuries. And if he can stay healthy, he's going to be that presence that's going to scare the guys that drive. Exactly,
them block
the LeBron
shots.
James, the D-Wade with the block shots. And that's where, that's where we're going to really come into our own is, I mean, when Joakim Noah goes out of the game, who do we come in behind him? Brian Scalabrine?
No, Amir.
But, sometimes he also goes down in for Boozer. So
you still have Taj Gibson also there.
We really need Noah to stay healthy this year.
We do.
And put in some serious minutes on the floor. I think that and Rip Hamilton really getting used to the system and getting used to that kind of flow that he should have with Derrick Rose, kind of the way Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne or Marvin Harrison work together. Just knowing where the other guy's going to be without looking. I think if those two get it going, the Bulls will be unstoppable in the East this year.
And we just mentioned a couple names off that bench. Taj Gibson, Amir. You have Ronnie Brewer coming off the bench, and you also have Kyle Korver coming off the bench. When you look at this
top
team,
to bottom, the number 1 to the number 12, the Bulls. Gar Forman has assembled a team You got to give him
It's a
credit.
championship caliber team.
It is, without a doubt. You got to hand it to the man. And maybe Jerry Angelo can go to the Gar Foreman School of Talent Evaluation.
You're not going to give up on that Jerry Angelo.
Jerry Angelo would do us all a wonderful thing if on Christmas Day he announced he was leaving.
Getting back to the Bulls.
Okay, I'm
Getting
sorry.
back to the Bulls. Where do you see the Bulls finishing? We just talked about how great of a team this is. Great starting five, great bench. Where will this? We got 66 games. Give me your over and under.
In 66 games, divide that in 4. In the last quarter, LeBron James will disappear again, as he always does, as has continually done through his career. He is, as I have been referred to, he's the anti-Tim Tebow.
Okay.
He's there for the first 3 and disappears for the 4th. I actually believe that the Bulls will finish with the best record because defense has always won championships, and Gar Foreman and Tom Thibodeau can really put together a defensive team. I honestly believe the Bulls come with the number 1 seed once again to the playoffs.
Give me a number of wins.
A number of wins. I say probably 50 and 16.
50 and 16.
50, 51, and 16.
They lost 20 games last year.
Yeah.
So they're going to lose
The Titans' schedule is going to hurt everybody, and you're going to see a lot more parity this year.
Okay, 50 and 16. I think
that'll be number 1 in the East.
I actually went 54 and 12.
See, we're not that far off, 54 and 12. But do you have the Bulls number 1?
I do have the Bulls as the number 1 team going into the Eastern Conference Finals this year, playing against the Miami Heat.
Against the Miami Heat, you can't play against in the Heat in the finals. They can do it in the Eastern Conference Finals, but not in the finals.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The Eastern Conference Finals.
So, yeah, and in the West you got to battle in LA alone.
Do you really have a battle in LA?
Honestly, I do believe you will. Kobe Bryant is hurt yet again.
But
they got rid of Lamar Odom. They have some tension out there because they were going to trade Pau Gasol, and suddenly he's still there. They haven't been able to pull the trigger for Dwight Howard. Andrew Bynum will probably get hurt again.
Yes.
He's always hurt.
But they always find a way to win.
They always find a way to win, but they'll win in the regular season. They'll disappear in the playoffs. Dirk Nowitzki is not ready to come back yet.
So out of the West, who you see coming out of the West? I really look at this. You look at the upstarts in the West, and you got the Oklahoma City.
I love Oklahoma.
Thunder. You cannot count out San Antonio. They were the number 1 seed in the West.
Age is getting to San Antonio, though.
But they came out with the number 1 seed in the West last year.
They started out on fire and kind of held on down the stretch and then lost in the playoffs.
Did they start off on fire last year?
I believe they were on fire to begin with. Yeah.
I thought they kind of started off kind of slow and
I
snuck
could be
up
wrong,
at the
but
end.
the San Antonio typically does that. Tony Parker starts off great.
Give me your top 4 seeds in the West.
Top 4 seeds in the West. Wow. I do not believe the Lakers are there.
Really?
I believe right there on the fringe, you're looking at the Lakers and the Suns. I believe your top 4 are you're looking at your Dallas Mavericks, your Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I believe that the Clippers are going to sneak in there.
I'm going to give you a surprise team.
You give me a surprise team as I think about my surprise team.
And it may not be a surprise team to many people, but the Memphis Grizzlies.
Really?
The Memphis Grizzlies.
That's an interesting call.
They were number 5 last year.
Right.
So that was a team that's an upstart team. They got some young talent. They got Gasol, the other Gasol.
Yeah.
They have Rudy Gay. They have O.J. Mayo. They have Randolph down low. They have the makings of a pretty good team. They have Mike Conley Jr. also. So they have
Ohio State, Ohio State University.
They have a lot of young talent on that team.
Yes, they sure do.
So
that's actually not a bad pick. I got to give you credit for that one. But I honestly believe that Lakers. I love Kobe Bryant. He's got to have a lot of off-the-court distractions this year, as we well know in his divorce. That's coming.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of off-the-court talk about that. I think that's going to cause too much issue with him on the court. Still adjusting to Mike Brown as coach. I honestly believe the Lakers are going to have him off season.
So
unless they go on pull a trigger to get Dwight Howard.
What seed are you saying them finishing as?
6, maybe 7. They'll make the playoffs, but that's about it.
So they're squeezing in the playoffs.
Yeah, without a doubt. They're going to be down there.
I don't think so. I like these Lakers. I mean, I like Kobe. I like Kobe as a leader. I like what Kobe could bring the rest of his team to his level. I see the Lakers being that 4th seed in the West.
But do you honestly believe that any team out west is going to pull out Dallas Mavericks and win the championship again, or do you think that the talent has moved to the East?
The talent has definitely moved to the East. You got a New York Knicks team that's looking good in the East. You have a Chicago Bulls team.
Don't forget the Celtics. You still got the big three up there.
You have the Celtics. So those 4 teams gonna be there.
Right.
I'm not sure if the Orlando Magic is gonna be there this year.
I think they're gonna fade. Atlanta has a chance.
Atlanta is one of those teams you can't get excited for.
I'm not gonna get excited, but they'll make the playoffs. They'll be your 8th seed.
I don't really care to see Atlanta at all.
Does anybody care about the Detroit Pistons anymore? What has happened to the Pistons?
Are they still a team?
Is Detroit still a city?
Well, they went from 1 million to 200,000 in population over, 5-6 years?
I guess so, but...
I hope you're not from Detroit because it sucks.
All right.
I said it.
You said it.
I said it. And speaking of...
Sucking, can I talk about... Speaking of sucking, how about Alex Brown and his picks last week? Oh, no, they were your picks. You stunk it up last week.
Okay, I'm still in second place.
You're in second place, as Alex Brown would say. Alex Brown is still pulling up the rear, and Alex, you're still last, not third, last. I am now up by 2. I'm up by 2. You got 1 over Alex, so I am up by 2. We have 2 weeks left to go. We're going to make our NFL picks this week on a few key games. As always, you can join us on Pigskin Pick'em on ESPN.com. Look for Des Clark, Alex Brown Show. That information is on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Des Clark Show.
And going back to the city of Detroit, the Detroit Lions are playing at home against the Chargers this week, and this should be a scary game for the Lions because the Chargers are still trying to make a playoff push.
Did you see the hurting the Chargers put on?
It was a beating.
I mean, it was like the Ravens didn't even show up for the airplane.
It was a beating, and nobody expected that.
They basically did whatever they want on that field. It was if the San Diego Chargers was playing
the Tampa Bay Bucks,
the Illini, the Fighting Illini of Ron Zook.
So are the Chargers going to beat the Lions this week? I say no.
You're going to say the Lions going to take it?
I got the Lions winning this game.
The Lions are at home.
They are.
The Lions are at home, and they play much better in the Dome at home. They had that exciting comeback over Oakland last week. Stafford is regaining it. Their question is the running game. Is Kevin Smith healthy? Is Maurice Morris able to carry the ball? Obviously, Best may never play again, honestly. I feel sorry for Javid Best. Honestly, with the health turning around for the San Diego Chargers, Malcolm Floyd is healthy. Antonio Gates is healthy again. Ryan Matthews is toting the rock. I'm going San Diego in this game.
All right, that's our first.
I'm going San Diego in this game.
Different pick. That's one game I'm going to make up on you.
Game you got to make up a bunch.
The second game I'm going to make up on you is this Oakland and Kansas City because obviously you're going to choose Kansas City and I'm going to choose Oakland.
Why am I going to choose Kansas City?
Because I want you to.
Oh, is that what it is?
Because Oakland is going to win this game. I think what you're seeing out of Cal Orton last week is a positive. But Oakland is just a better team.
Oakland, Darren McFadden and Jacoby Ford still not in practice. Carson Palmer is still acting colorblind and throwing to the wrong team.
Maybe he's like Vinny
Romeo Crennel has reinvigorated this Kansas City Chiefs team. They are 3-1 against the NFC North. Did you see how they celebrated with Crennel? Did you see how they rallied around him and how the players have already publicly come out and said, we want this man as our head coach next year?
So after one game, he's reinvigorated the whole organization.
Honestly, I am going to go with that. I am going to take Kansas City on this game.
Well, I told you. That's two games that I'm
Furthermore, they're in Arrowhead.
Okay. That's two games that I made up already. We're tied.
Or I'm going to have a 4-game lead going into the final week.
Not Jets versus Giants.
Jets versus Giants. And I don't want to call this one a home game for either team. They play in the same stadium.
All they do is change the colors.
All they're doing is changing the colors. Are they going to split the field? I know it's supposed to be a road game for the Jets, I believe.
Yeah, they're going on the road to their home.
The Jets are going on the road, or should I say the Rexes are going on the road.
And they'll be in the same locker room because there's 3 locker rooms there. You have the Jets, you have the Giants, and then you have the away team.
The away team, yes.
So each team will be in their home locker.
Well, this game is the trap game for me this week.
This game for me is the most difficult to call because the Giants dropped a goose egg. I mean, they laid a nasty, Veruca salt.
After an impressive win.
Anybody get the Veruca salt comment? The bad egg? Willy Wonka? Anyway.
Yeah.
They laid when you lose to the Redskins, who, by the way, I'm worried. I think Mike Shanahan is now on a collective suicide watch since Matt Barkley decided to stay at USC.
Robert Griffin.
I do believe so. He was a Matt Barkley guy. Look for them to potentially draft Landry out of Oklahoma, but I'm going to go with Giants. I'm going to pick the Giants. I'm going to go with Eli Manning over Mark Sanchez. I believe that's going to be the difference in the game.
I'm going to go with the Giants, too, although I don't want them to win. I want the Jets to win this game.
Why?
To set up the next game that we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah, because if the Jets lose, the next game honestly doesn't have any – Philadelphia is then eliminated from the playoff contention. However, it's not going to matter because Philadelphia hates Dallas and Dallas hates Philadelphia.
Do you know how much drama that would be in Week 17 if the Giants lose this game and Dallas has to win the last game to stay in the playoffs? And that's
Jason Garrett's job could be on the line in that game. I mean, I know he got a vote of confidence, but was it really a vote of confidence?
So,
Dallas Philadelphia is what we're talking about. Wow.
I mean, Philly is a different team. No pressure now.
Mike Vick is back. They're a different team. LaShawn McCoy is really running the ball well.
I think he has 19 touchdowns this year. A team that has no pressure. If they get into the playoffs, well, okay, we're supposed to be here. If we don't, we had a terrible beginning of the season.
This game is all going to be decided by who everybody loves as a coaching candidate, Rob Ryan's inability or ability to call defense. Everybody wants to anoint Rob Ryan as the next NFL head coach, and honestly, his defense stinks. His defense stinks. Tony Romo's quarterback rating in the fourth quarter, Tony Romo's overall passing and the points scored. If we had Tony Romo in Chicago, we'd be winning nonstop, and somehow Dallas keeps finding ways to lose games because they keep giving it up. For that reason, I'm going Philadelphia in this game.
I'm going Philadelphia also.
By the way, Rob Ryan, if you get a head coaching job, I am betting against you every week.
Wow. Just draw a line in the sand.
The man is not ready to lead.
Monday night game.
Just like his old man, Buddy. Buddy was a great defensive coordinator, and he should have stayed there.
And
Monday night game.
Atlanta versus New Orleans. This is a good one.
This is a good one. Matty Ryan, Tony Gonzalez, even Julio Jones getting more involved in that Atlanta offense.
You know what? Before we talk about this game, I like what the NFL did with making a lot of these matchups with the divisional rivals.
Is it just me, or is this making – I mean, you're talking about a team that Philadelphia that everybody wrote off still has a shot.
Playing against a divisional rival.
Look at the AFC West. And the AFC West, you could potentially have a four-way tie at 8-8. No team has been eliminated in the AFC West. No team.
No team.
Denver is, I believe, 8-6 if they lose out. Oakland is right there. Kansas City is still there with Romeo Crennel now. There could be a four-way tie in the AFC West, and it's all going to be decided in these last 2 weeks. Gotta love what they did in scheduling this. I give kudos to the NFL.
And the NFC East could be the same way with 3 teams at 8-8.
3 teams, yeah. It's amazing. Whoever thought that the AFC West would be the division that everybody's looking to see?
It's happening.
You know? Oh, you know what? Speaking of, the only kudo that we forgot, or lack of kudo that we've got early, the St. Louis Rams. If they don't fire Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah, because everybody thought that would be the team this year. But back to the Atlanta versus New Orleans. I think this New Orleans team is a team that, besides the Green Bay Packers, has the best chance to win another title this year.
Well, let's look at the good news for the Saints is they won't be outdoors again unless they can't overtake Green Bay for the #1 seed. They will not play another game outdoors this season.
Is San Francisco number 2?
Or they won't play a cold weather game. Right now, San Francisco's number 2. The New Orleans Saints will not play another cold weather game unless for some reason they all, or not for some reason, but they meet up in Green Bay in the NFC Championship game because their last 2 games are domes. Then they would, at worst, they would host the game, and then at worst go to San Francisco. They are awesome in a warm weather stadium. I believe that the Saints and Drew Brees Drew Brees is a juggernaut this year. Nobody's been able to stop him. Atlanta was taken apart by the Chicago Bears in Week 1.
Week 1? You represent Week 1?
I'm going back to Week 1, and the defense still really hasn't turned it around for Atlanta.
So, obviously, you're picking New Orleans.
I am picking New Orleans Saints in this game all the way.
New Orleans they're playing just lights out right now. 42-20 last week. I really don't see this team being stopped by anybody besides the Green Bay Packers. So I got New Orleans not in a close game in this one. I see it as been a 35-14, 35-21 game. This New Orleans team is playing great. So
once again, we have out of 5 games that we've picked, we are different on 2. Last week I went 5-0.
So you're just gonna rub it in?
Last week I went 5-0.
You gonna say it again?
I went 5-0.
You gonna say it again?
5-0.
Say it again.
5-0.
Sound like a broken record.
Yes. And I got a 2-game lead on you. You could potentially tie it up, and we could be like the NFL where it comes down to last week to decide.
That's the way it should be.
Let's see how that works. We missed Alex Brown tonight. Alex.
Did we really miss Alex?
Did we? I don't know. Did anybody here miss Alex Brown tonight?
Shh. Nobody said anything.
No, I heard a lot of no's. Nobody seemed to miss Alex Brown. I think Kellen Davis filling in for a little while. And Jimmy from Lake Forest.
We have Jimmy.
Yeah. Maybe we should get Jimmy's number and invite him back. Alex, sorry.
Then maybe I'll be the non-descript black guy.
That's right. It'd be Jimmy, Ryan, and the non-descript black guy show.
Got a nice ring to it.
That does have a nice ring. We're going to take a week off next week to our loyal fans. So no show December 29th. Enjoy your holidays.
But we will be right back on January 5th.
We'll be back airing at the same time. Same place online, DesClarkShow.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/DesClarkShow. You get all your updates and information right there. And next week, on January 5th, you'll be able to find out. And we're going to email each other our picks for the last week of the regular season, so we'll know who winds up winning this contest and who gets dinner.
Yes, sir. Well, no.
Post our picks on our Facebook page.
But can I say something about this?
Okay.
You need to. You are my butler for one day because we
had the same record.
No. We had the same record, but I went to the playoffs and you didn't, buddy.
You were in a division with 2 owners that
you
didn't even
No, it was one owner.
Set their lineups.
It was one. And you know what I looked at? You was in the other division with the other one.
No, I wasn't.
With the Red Devils.
No, I was in the #1 rated division. I am still power ranked higher than you are.
I went to the playoffs.
Power ranked higher than you are.
I went to the playoffs.
Over 200 more points.
I won a game in the playoffs. You did not make it to the playoffs.
I got a bye week.
You are my butler for a day. Open my door, Mr. Belvedere. You already owe me dinner because I beat you head up.
What, are you making it a racial thing now, Mr. Belvedere?
I want you to.
Why can't I be Benson?
I want you. I want you to wear a top hat, and when you open my door, I want you to say, "Good day, Mr. Clark. Can I get you anything else?"
I tell you what, I will do it. I will do it on this condition. On this condition.
The condition was you lost.
I'm going to do it on this condition. We have to do it on a day of the show.
That'd be great.
I have to do it on a day of the show because I want people to come and take photos of this. I'm a man of my word. I want people to come and take photos.
Will you wear a nice black suit?
I am not going to wear a black suit, no. I am not going to wear a black suit. No, not going to happen.
This is how we do it every week on the Des Clark Show. We appreciate y'all coming out.
The Des Clark and Alex Brown Incognito Show.
Incognito?
He's right here. You just can't see him.
Well, usually if they turn off the lights, you can't see him anyway.
He's not smiling, so you can't see him.
All right, we're going to leave.
Hey, before we go, I don't know if anybody can hear us in the house right now. I want to give away some prizes. We didn't give away these steaks. So I would like to give away a prize in the house to all the Tilted Kilt. We're going to give away these steaks once again. I have another trivia question for you. And again, I'm going to go back to the Pro Bowl. I am going to go back to the Pro Bowl. We're going to go to all-time Pro Bowl records. Which NFL player, either current or former, has the most career rushing attempts and most career rushing yards in Pro Bowl games? Raise your hand, and you'll get these wonderful fillets donated to us.
Close.
We need to see a show of hand before you yell at the answer. I need to know which NFL running back had the most career rushing yards.
You can't win your own stakes.
Most career rushing yards and rushing
in the
attempts
back.
in the Pro Bowl. Raise your hand, please. We need to raise our hands. Anybody? The question again is, who leads the career rushing attempts? It is not Marshall Faulk. Career rushing attempts and career rushing yards during Pro Bowl games.
Got a winner.
What's the answer? Indeed, of course, I decided at the last one no one got. I made it easier. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest running back to ever play the game. Number 34 himself, the late, great Walter Payton. We have a winner right up here. Come on up and take your filet mignon.
And what better way to end the show than talk about Walter Payton?
Walter Payton, the late, great Walter Payton's sweetness.
Appreciate y'all tuning in to the Des Clark, Alex Brown, and our Non-descript white guy show, Ryan Steele.
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter at Des Clark88 and WCRT Chicago. You could have been anywhere tonight, but you was here with us, and we thank you for that. Good night.
We're over.